The Baby Boks are the champions of the world. SA schools ran riot, and the Paul Roos coaches speak about that move. That's all coming up tonight on Rugby on 216, brought to you by Thirsty. Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of Rugby on 216. We're back in studio. It's been a couple of weeks that we haven't been in studio. I was away. You guys did it from King Price's headquarters. Then
you don't think about that day. Yeah,
your pool match where you played 4 shots cumulatively.
Was that fun, Alex?
Yeah. I can't believe you played a game of pool without deciding who actually won.
We're not saying we had fun because we were playing. That's not what we...
Wow. Okay. Well, something that has been won this week, the Red Cup. We'll get to that in a little bit. But let's just start off and revel in being champions of the world as the under-20s. I mean, if you just look at that team, the number of faces we've spoken about on the show when we launched the sort of trial show last year, towards the end of the year, the international series. Riley Norton, Setu Nebelele, they were both on that show. And so many of these guys have been in our class of 24, some in the class of 23. Just wow.
I mean, incredible. I mean, I was thinking as I was watching the game, especially being part of SuperSport schools, like you feel like you've walked a journey with certain players. I mean, it feels like yesterday I was sitting with JJ Theron in Graham College, sitting there talking about him wanting to go unbeaten. And they did. And then now you fast forward 2 years and he's an under-20 champion. It feels like yesterday myself and we were shooting JPKs and we're speaking to us, speaking to Vusi Moyo.
Yeah.
And then you see them there. Like just last year we were at the international series watching Chilzo used to rip it up. And all these guys are Shimpeted. And it's incredible. I mean, like just see how far they've come in the rugby they play. And it just shows, I mean, we've always talked about like the amount of talent that we produce in South Africa. We see it in our schoolboy system, and I think everyone's been like, okay, when are we going to get it right? When is it going to translate into success again under 20? And then we sit here now, and eventually it's coming right. And the exciting part is a 7 or 8 under 19s.
Yeah,
and then
you're going to be there next year.
Now you're adding the Zeko Telesias, that mix for next year, the Marcus Millers, and still guys like Pete van der Merwe can't get inside guys. So it's exciting.
No, it's brilliant, and they were always going to win that final. They were the best side of that tournament, and comfortably so. The game was close because it was a final. South Africa was comfortably better than New Zealand. You know what won it for us? And this is our DNA, okay? Physicality and defense. The amount of tackles JJ Tron made in that first half, absolutely phenomenal. Playing almost out of position. You know, they're turning him into a lock. He used to play 8th man. Batu Hlekani, your Eastern Cape man. You know, when he builds up that head of steam, it's poetic.
I spoke, we had Lincoln Marley on the show earlier this year of the Mzwandile Marley tournament, and he spoke about Batu's whole journey, and he was saying he's so excited to see him at the Under-20 World Champs later in the year, and then now here we see.
And as you say, Moyo, Under-19. Nebelele, Riley Norton, the captain, the double international. South African under-19 cricketer, under-20 captain, second captain ever to lift the trophy. Here's the thing, though. I was vocal about it. You know, we needed to win this one. We needed to prove that our structure can go on from being very dominant at under-18 and win the under-20 World Cup. And we've proven that now. So it adds a bit of pressure now, eh? It does, because we lost it in 2012. With the Jan Serfontein, Andre Pollard, there was so many superstars on that side. Is this a thing that these guys are going to become those same superstars? I think so. You know, that back line, the way in transition play, they can rip you to pieces. Think Pete, think Juster, think Mento, think Williams. You know, you haven't mentioned Albi Bester. You haven't mentioned Dimitri Erasmus. You've got the cool, calm, steady head of Moyo. And he impressed me, Cooks. He impressed me because 4, 5, 6 weeks ago, after the Rugby Championship, Under-20 Championship, there was question marks over our 10s. There was question mark over our 10s. And, you know, like I said will happen in the Under-18 series, one guy came through and took charge and made the team his. And the way he was kicking those penalties in the final, absolutely.
Fantastic. I think if you remember our very first episode, a pilot of Rugby on 2 on 6, we sat down with Yusuf Jackson, General Manager of Operations at SARU. And I won't say we were grilling him, but we were asking him about the whole pathway and the road to Under-20. So I think we can take credit for for planting the seed.
I'm sure Yusuf will be lining to come back for another interview. Like, I told you guys.
I told you so.
I told you we had a plan.
I'll tell you who needs to take credit. Those men on the screen, Kevin Foote, Johan Ackerman, the whole coaching staff, everyone involved, you could see the way they celebrated. It was a unit. It was a cohesive unit.
I spoke to Riley in the week and he was just so... I asked him, he wasn't nervous. They were just so excited to be playing New Zealand in a final, representing the country, and they got so much support from South Africa, so deserved champions. Let's talk then about the rest of the pathway, the juniors. Let's get into what happened this week. SA Schools beat SA Schools A by 49 points to 14. We did some picks last week at Craven Week as we wrapped up on the field at Middelburg. And I said there were 2 points up for grabs. 1 point if you get the team right, that wins the game. And then another point if you are closest to the winning margin. Sput, you were closest. You said SA Schools by 9. That was closer than Cooks' SA Schools by 5. You both get 1 point for SA Schools. Sput, you get an extra point for saying by 9.
Yeah, but I mean,
Cooks is going to bemoan.
They were like 20 points.
But the rules are the rules, the closest. And I remember, and I know he's going to bemoan this fact. And I mean, in which world was this Schools only going to win by 5? I mean,
so supposed to go the recap now, which I'm lodging an official complaint. Because for the last month I've had the red cap. Sports has never brought it back. He only brings it to work. We're going to give it to him. Like, no, that's not fair. Now it's not the red cap. Now it appears. When King Prize and red cap was nowhere to be seen, and Middelburg was nowhere to be seen. The water bottles were there. All the other stuff was there. Now all of a sudden, now that this red cap is nowhere to be seen.
Not there.
So we're lodging a formal complaint.
And then now, when I have to give it up, he gives it to me, so I give it back to you. No, this is...
I must say,
I'm giving to you, but I'm not happy.
I must say, I also feel pretty uncomfortable because SA Schools won by that much.
Yeah,
to take it from you. So what I'm going to do is...
Neither of you guys really knew what you were talking about there.
I'm going to put it down here. But...
No, I want you to take it.
I'm not taking it.
When I get it back next week...
But
I'm going to Bloom. I'll walk to your house and go get the scam.
I am taking my 2 points though, because I'll leave the cap there, and I'm taking my 2 points.
Let's see what the 2 points have done, and the 1 point for you. This was last week. Sput, you were 36 from 53 picks. Cooks, you were 37 from 53, so you were leading by 1. Obviously, both now from 55 picks, you are the same, 38 from 55, both sitting on 69%. It is neck and neck as we get into the back end of the season.
It's actually perfect because it's neck and neck. We're going into the third term, so we've played our cards right in terms of. But the thing about it though, it's neck and neck. But I want the viewers to remember that I was like 10, like more like 10,
20,
like 20%
behind, yeah.
So I don't want the viewers to forget that and be caught up in the nostalgia of like, it's going
is it that you've caught up or he's just dropped? Or both?
I think both.
Both. It's got tougher as we've gone on.
I think it's both, because I remember distinctly when I sent him a message. I said, "But you have to start shaping up this thing because it's too easy. Tell me which games I must get wrong next week. I'll give you 3 or 4, just to get a bit of momentum." But momentum is a funny thing, and it was with you. It was properly with you.
Yeah.
But the holiday refreshes everything.
It's not like you were wrong. It's not like you got a point to go wrong. You're like, you said 9. It's a virtue of like, you're supposed to talk as if like you got the score right.
Well, let's talk about the game then, because obviously you both said SA Schools would win it, but neither of you were even remotely close to the pick. There's some of the guys in action. We spoke last week. You were worried that you weren't worried. You said some A10 or 10s are going to have to put their hands up in the coming weeks. Not a single kick missed from the tee in the match, and lots of points scored. So your thoughts on that?
Firstly, too easy for the SA Schools side. The easiest it's been in a long time. Did the SA Schools A side not pitch, or was the SA Schools side so good? I think a bit of a combination. Cook said it's always one up front. It's always one up front. And Pratt, Van der Berg were both phenomenal at scrum time. They laid the foundation in that first half for the SA Schools side. And then, we said it last week, imagine having Miller, Adams, Siyaya, Afrikaner, those guys having an opportunity with front football running it.
Siyaya scored a hat-trick
Second time
for
running.
the second time in a row.
Second time in a row in this game. And then, but I just want to prove my point about it, sort of taking it through to the under-20s as well. First phases, wins rugby matches. Dominant scrap and a brilliant Oya Mayer at line-out time. He stuck his head into our show last week. He ruled the roost at line-out. He won all his own balls, took 3 away from them, and he ran it. And you could see first phase was sorted. I want to ask you one question. Would you not switch Miller and Adams around?
I would. It's an interesting one not to go against the selectors and coaches. I just think you've got, it does seem to be the tank will be better at 12. They're both generational talents. Marcus Miller's obviously phenomenal. I do feel they're not getting the best out of him at 12, which you can get at 13. Ethan Adams, for example, is probably the best, most destructive ball carrier in the schoolboy rugby in the back line, and probably the second most to everything right after Zekatela Siyaya. But I still love the tank coming off first option 9, hitting the tank there, and then obviously him offloading to a Marcus Miller, and obviously Ethan Adams his attack game has gotten so much better. I just, we know obviously the shift that Marcus Miller made, even in Craven playing at 12. I just do feel like we're not getting the most out of him, and he's an out and out 13, and I just feel it'll be interesting to see for me when they're going forward into the international series, because my proposition is obviously they're building a squad from here. That's going to get ready, and they can still get guys from SAA and as an 18. Like you look at what you can do there. Like do you go with the Marksman again at 12? Do you go with the Ethan and Ethan Adams again? So like there's lots
They've
of
got
options
another
to play
option.
with.
They've got Ozzy Foster as well.
Yeah, or Ozzy Foster. See, my thing is, for example, is
So you don't have to turn a 13 into a 12. You can
have a
pick
12.
Foster.
Because I think the best 12 in the country is Ozzy Foster.
So
And you proved it Craven.
yeah, if you want to pick Foster, the one thing why I would like to see Adams having a go at 12 is something that people forget about Ethan Adams. And if you go and watch that game, that was sort of what he decided to do. He is a very good distributor.
Yeah.
I remember one of the passes to Siyaya, flat, hard, quick from Adams. Didn't look to take on the line, just went, boom, I've got Siyaya there.
Yeah.
Threw him a great pass. So I think he is a good option at 12. But you've got Foster as well. Miller, remember, used to be a 12 way back. Up to a 16 level. Became a 13. Him and Quentin Potgieter actually had a stage at Paul can play together in the centre. But it was almost when Miller became a 13 that stardom was written all across him. When he found that space in the channel wider. So there's a dual reason why I say that the switch can work, and the switch for me is on. Mm-hmm. And then I'll have a go with Ozzy Foster, who was one of the few SA Schools A players who stood his ground.
Yeah.
And he stood it properly, and he was playing against Marcus, and he gave Marcus what Marcus could handle.
The thing I want to ask you guys about, Nella, 4 from 4, Groenewald, 3 from 3, Van Biljon 2 from 2, nobody missing a single kick. Who do you have starting in the international series at 10? This is the last thing I want to
Courses
ask
for
you guys.
courses. I think it depends on the condition. I thought Nelo was good.
Yeah.
And this is probably the best pack is playing in front of me. Like having those guys, I thought Nelo was really good. But again, it's going to be interesting because it's relatively wet down in the Western Cape in August. They are playing test match rugby.
Yes.
And I must say, so they are trying to win an international series. I like the boot you have in a Ruben Groenewald. I like the option of I'll have Ruben Groenewald starting at 10. I'll have Nela coming off the bench because I like the option of Nela to come on. It's very exciting. I mean, very exciting the way the barrel rugby that he plays, catches where he comes off the bench, catching defense a little bit tight. But in sort of net setting, test match setting, I want the boot of Ruben Groenewald because we are like as much as people are like as exciting to see under 18s and as the guys in the Soros are like they're there to win rugby matches. They're there to win the series. So I'm going Ruben Groenewald.
This is so tough for me. Do we have a bit of a backline bomb squad coming on to open up, to win? Because even in a test match, the last quarter does open up because guys get tired. The fields are going to be heavy, So are we bringing it in? So let's wait for the makeup of the squads before. Yeah.
As we get closer to the international series, we'll talk a lot more about it here on Rugby on 216. When we come back from the break, though, the guys will lock in their picks for Saturday as rugby returns across South Africa. We'll see you in a bit.
No contest this week. The machine of the week was an easy pick. The guys will reveal who it is right after a quick water break with Thirsty.
Je komt mee boksen. Kiwis? Anne? Maar waar is die Anne?
Hey, hey, hey! Ik kom niet boksen, ik kom niet boksen. Ik kom niet boksen, ik kom niet boksen.
Wow, wow! Exemos, wow! Breng van mij die box.
The Courier Guy, the courier behind the box.
Can you deliver something for me?
Where to?
Hij wees van mij, hij wees van mij. Put this one in the Springs box.
Look at man. Hey, winner.
Plenty of talent on show this weekend, but one player was clear to stand out. It's time for the guys to crown the machine of the week.
Well, welcome back to Rugby on 216, brought to you by Thirsty. And as Cheslin so nicely said, it is the machine of the week. And I don't think it's a surprise, guys, as he said as well. Zekatelo Siyaya.
Yeah, no doubt about it. 2 hat-tricks, 2 SA school games. I remember something last year, he got into the side very late because he was originally in the SA Schools A side. Then there was an injury and he shifted over to the SA Schools side and scored the hat-trick. This year, sometimes life is unfair. How can you have power, agility, pace, a good kicking boot, balance?
Kicks with both feet.
Kicks with both feet.
Both, yeah.
Can kick at goal, takes the high ball well. It's like he's a science project. He's a
But
combination
he's got
of
all
6
the,
players. Yeah,
all the great assets.
yeah. It's
together.
like he was cloned or something. But they took all the best players ever. They took somebody's balance. They took somebody's pace. They took somebody's power, and somebody's right boot because he kicks at 60, 65 meters out of hand. Oh, he's special. He's a wunderkind.
I mean, all you can say in a game where all the stars are out, he's shown the brightest. He was incredible again. He had incredible craven, an incredible season. I think for him, the easiest game of rugby he plays against his schools. It's like, I mean, it's just one in the wing, one in the fullback special.
But also, it shows that the quality of the players next to him there. Because you're saying it's his easiest game of the year, because it is. Because now he gets passed into the space. He doesn't have to search for it. He can run at it, and somebody realizes, yes, he's in there. Let me play him and things like that.
Yeah.
I just want to let Cooksey go back to his poetic best where when all the stars are out, he shines the bright. That is special.
We need to put that as the Instagram caption.
Can you please just pop me a message after?
I'm a man of many talents.
That's brilliant.
What I'm a little bit worried about, Thirsty Machine of the Week, we are building a shortlist for our Machine of the Year, which we will do at the end of the year, and I think our very last episode. And so far, we've had Miller, Neil, Siaya. So we're building quite the shortlist there. Let's talk now about Old School Jersey of the Week. As always, we pick a jersey from the collection behind me. It's always growing. I'll go first with my, it's a new jersey. You always say I've got Rondebosch. Don't have Rondebosch. This is a new jersey for me, St. Stithians College. Couple reasons why. It's the brother school of Rondebosch. That's not the reason.
He's got rid of Rondebosch now. He's gone for the Rondebosch from Joburg.
Yeah.
That's not the reason. Although it is quite a cool story. Rondebosch is one headmaster, Wally Mears, back in the day, I think the 50s, was headmaster at Rondebosch. He then was the founding headmaster of St. Stithians, and the reason why both schools have so many trees is because he made sure that they planted a lot. But whenever I'm in Joburg, love running at St. Stithians, very nice campus, massive schools. So I just thought I'd show them some love this week with the nice new jersey, and it's a new one for me and an excuse to hold a different jersey. So there we go. You guys.
I'm going Hilton College. We spoke about Liam Manela grabbing his opportunity, just have another go there. And I thought they've been really good this year. They've been full value in KZN. They've contributed to that Shark side handsomely. Players like Zander Forster, Zander Miller, Liam Manela. I enjoy the brand they play. I enjoy Liam Manela as a 10. And like we said, maybe he's an option for that second half sort of thing during the international series, but good on Hilton. They've had a good season. They've got good structures, and they've sort of over the last 5 years become very consistent, and that's maybe something they've lacked in the past. But it's a very, very nice looking jersey as well.
And I went down to the Eastern Cape.
Surprise?
Dale College. One of the newer ones. I'm very excited to have this one. I mean, obviously, it's spectacular. It's got when the school was started, established. My favorite thing about this jersey, I saw on Twitter, one of the guys that had gotten himself the old school Dale College jersey and started roasting all his mates who had Queens and Salborns. And he says that Dale, he goes, in Stellenbosch, they know Dale College. They don't know Queens yet. He says, don't tell me about dominance in Border, but in Stellenbosch, like, the old school, they know us.
Yeah.
They know the rules. Obviously, it has been a tough season for Dale first half, but I mean, it's nice to see that the Border schools are going, and also just nice seeing the interaction of old boys getting involved and giving other schools stick and almost prompting them, guys, get your own jerseys otherwise, because at the moment Dale College is shooting the roost down there.
It's nice to see that the old school collection is growing as well, and any schools that want to get involved that aren't yet can just head to Old School's website to find out. Picks. We are going to make some picks, guys, and just to remind you, the season's big calls. You said that on the 26th of July, either Wynberg or Sachs will lose. So that's just the first thing to remind you about, and then to bring up your percentages. This is how they stand at the moment. Let's do the picks then, and then I'll remind you about the Wynberg Sachs thing once we get there. SDC, yes.
Matt, please go first this time. You always go.
Do you want to do all the picks first?
Yes.
Okay. Dave.
Read me all of the picks.
All of the picks, and
and
you're
I'll
going to
give you straight off the cuff. All 10 seconds.
Okay. Right. Well, SDC Noordval Cup, Garsfontein Monas.
Garsfontein.
King Price Derby Series, Paulgem Wynberg.
Paulgem.
King Price Derby Series, Paul Boys Sachs.
Paul Boys.
King Price Derby Series, Grey High Framesby.
Grey High.
Rondebosch Paul Roos.
Paul Roos.
Okay. Cooks, are you going to go as fast down the list?
I'll try.
Okay. Garsfontein Monas.
Garsfontein.
Okay. I've already forgotten split, so you're in agreement for the first
We're
one.
in agreement.
You both said Garsfontein, yes. Pochem Weinberg.
Pochem.
Okay. Still in agreement. Paul Boy Sachs.
Paul Boys.
Still in agreement. Grey High Framesby. Is this where we maybe go differently?
Oh, it's a tough one. I mean, Frames have won the last few, but I think Grey High sort of restores order and gets that best in PE tag again. Grey High.
Okay. Grey High. Rondebosch, Paul Roos.
Alex, I don't like going against Rondebosch because I think they might think I've got an agenda because I've picked against them most of the time this year. But it's going down to the Makota, I think. Paul Roos.
That's why I sort of had second thoughts.
Okay.
That's why I asked the question. You know?
Yeah.
Josh Neal, injury update.
He's still injured.
Up to for how much?
I don't know. I'm going to chat to him this week. We've got on Tuesday, as the show airs, actually. Rondebosch first team is playing a touring side from the UK. I'm refereeing that, so I will see all the guys and I'll ask him.
Randall John Davis.
I'll also ask. I don't know.
But just sort of just colouring in that picture why I went Paul.
That they could potentially be two guys who are very key to that structure who aren't playing. So yeah, that's understandable. And there we are, the picks for the week. Then you're both sitting on 69%. Sput has the red cap. Sput's going to keep the red cap. So yeah, Cooks.
No, but deep, I'm not going to.
Once we get to international series, there'll be some more.
So what you're telling me is what you're telling me. Heading into 2 August, we'll still be exactly the same, because that's why I wanted to go first, just to prove that he just copies. He just copies.
All I'm saying is when you make our picks for the 2nd of August, which is a massive week to pick next week.
Yeah,
it's going to be big.
It's going to be big. I mean, well, thank goodness that the neutral field, so no school can kick us.
Yeah.
It's exciting. You guys are neck and neck going into the back end of this series of the show, the season of school rugby. So there's drama. There's going to be reputation on the line. There's going to be relationships with coaches who you might have called friends previously, but now you've got to.
I've got a suggestion though. You know what we do? When we pick, we're going to organise that we go to the 2 schools hall period. On the Friday morning. But if you pick Boys Eye for the win, you go to Paul Combs Hall period. And if I pick I go to Boys Eye.
And you wear the other school's old school jersey? Or?
Sput's trying to give me trouble. I've already got a wanted list with my name in Bloemfontein, which has been funny every time Gray's played. I've been sick. Well, I've been traveling, so now it's putting on. Now I'm going to school and like add to it. No.
Okay. Well, the picks are locked in for this week. There won't be a change in the ownership of the Thirsty Red Cap next week, but the guys' percentages could go up, could go down. We'll see all that action taking place on Saturday. We're going to take a quick break now on Rugby on 2 and 6, brought to you by Thirsty. When we come back, we'll be joined by Brad Geimer from FNB to talk about how FNB has been sponsoring youth weeks and really getting involved in the pipeline of South African schoolboy rugby and schoolgirl rugby. See you in a bit.
We were lost for 3 days. I told him to ration the water, but he somehow went and drank every last drop in the first hour. I have a family.
We urge the public to remain calm. There is no leak. However, we have identified a thirsty individual who's responsible for this water crisis in the Western Cape.
You almost left Brackenfell for Waterkloof just because of the name. Almost.
Jason, is this true?
Yeah, that's true. I am thirsty.
Some things you don't choose. They choose you. A name, a history, a legacy that came long before you and will last long after you're gone. It's not just about the game. It's the moments that shape you. The early mornings, the long bus rides, the chants that never fade. The friendships, the rivalries, the feeling of being part of something bigger. It's a belonging, something you carry with you wherever you go. Because once you're a part of it, you always will be.
Sure. You sure? Sure.
Yeah, man, you sure?
Yes, I am sure. Look at this thing. It's presidential. What if we get caught, man? Nobody gets caught in South Africa, man.
That's true.
Now lift. I'm sure.
Don't just be sure. Be sure. King Price ain't sure. Insurance you can be sure about. Visit kingprice.co.za.
Welcome back to Rugby on 216, brought to you by Thirsty. On today's show, we're very excited to be joined by Brad Geimer, who's the sponsorship lead at FNB, also involved with Pirates Rugby Club. Welcome to our studio. Welcome to Rugby on 216. We are going to be talking to you all about the Youth Weeks that FNB have come on board as a great sponsor for. And I think just to kick it off, why Youth Weeks? Obviously this year we had FNB Under 18 Craven Week, we had FNB Grand Coma, we had FNB Girls Week. So why the Youth Weeks?
Yeah, Alex, how's it, guys? How's it, gents? Good to be here. It's yeah, look, I think for FNB, it's an amazing opportunity to get into Youth Weeks. We've been involved in rugby in some shape or form, especially the Springboks since 2017. We've had a number of different properties like Classic Clashes and Varsity Cup. So getting involved with SARU from a top-down perspective has allowed us sort of to close that loop of everything and really own the value chain to support our strategy.
I mean, Brad, it's nice seeing Brad here in the studio. This is the most formal chat Brad I've had. I mean, we spent many times together at Pirates. But I mean, Brad, you've been involved with the women's Springboks from women's side for a while. But now having FNB on the Springbok logo, I mean, and then obviously with the FNB, I mean, with the Youth Weeks now, for you guys, it must be great to you talk about owning that value chain from schools now all the way to the Springboks.
Yeah. No, that's again, Cooks, it's like a super exciting opportunity for us, eh? And we really are taking it quite seriously inside. The term that's walking inside is we're going to need to walk like an elephant now because it's a massive responsibility. You know, to be on the front of the jersey on the Springbok men alone is massive responsibility, but now to be a partner of the entire SARU ecosystem comes with great responsibility, something we're up for. Again, sort of grassroots to greatness is our strategy from a sponsorship perspective. And having a Youth Weeks in, having the Women's Youth Weeks in is very important for us. And it just helps us develop the rugby in the future.
I think the important thing, Cooksy and Brad, for people watching this program, is the grassroots part.
Absolutely.
You know, it's all good and well being part of the greatness, but you've got to invest in that grassroots to get to greatness. And I think for the people out there, just explain how important the grassroots part is. And it's not just a filter down because you're a SARU partner.
Without the grassroots, you don't have the greatness, to be quite honest. So, yes, but I think it's a great question. So, we've been involved with Classic Clashes for 23 years now. It's been going for a very long time. That's literally FNB going into various schools. We've got 45 clashes that happen at the moment. And we go and we try and add as much value as we possibly can to the experience of the day. And what we do well is we track the kids coming through Classic Clashes to see where they go next. And we try and help as much as we possibly can through that journey, whether it's not only from a rugby perspective and a development perspective, but then also off the field as well. Like, what does that look like for them as well?
I think all school, schoolboy fan, every fans know of FNB Classic Clashes. I mean, that's what I grew up on. And now, going from that now into the Youth Weeks, I'm sure it must be easier to, like you said, you mentioned the guys who get in the 45 pitches, but now you can track those guys into the Youth Week, so it almost closes that loop for them and continues that story for the guys.
Yeah, look, I think like FNB getting involved in Youth Weeks again, I know the Youth Weeks haven't necessarily had sponsors in the past. I know Coca-Cola has been in the past. Audio has done a very good job in more recent times. But a highlight for me was just seeing the amount of branding that was around the fields at the Youth Weeks again, which is amazing. And I think what that bodes well for is the sustainability of of the youth weeks, and supporting this massive network of players that South Africa has. And I have no doubt that this production line of talent is just going to carry on coming through. And look what the under-20s did last night. So
you talk about it being a production line of talent, and it goes through obviously to the Varsity Cup as well, which you guys are also part of. And we've spoken about Ntokozo Makaza on this show and the incredible job he's doing. We've spoken on the show already about the under-20s and their win. So it really is that awesome production line. I'm sure the talent excites you. Anything that you've seen in the recent weeks at the Youth Weeks, anything stand out? Any favourite moments, some highlights?
Yeah, look, I think there's so many. I think you guys have watched a lot of it as well, and you would know how many highlights there are. But I tell you, the one thing that stood out for me was the Springbok women arriving at the Girls' Week. That was phenomenal. To see the engagement and the excitement from the kids that were at that week when the Springbok women walked in, it was absolutely brilliant to see. And to see the fandom that's starting to happen in that space for our Springbok women at the moment, that for me was a moment I'll never forget.
But I gotta congratulate you, whoever made, there's always the boardroom. This is the end part of it, but there's always the fights there. Are we going to go? Are we not going to go? But I mean, the timing, spot on. If you go and look at it, to be on the front of those jerseys currently is one of the hottest properties in sport in the world. Because you've got the Boks as the world champions. You've got the Springbok women who's developing at a rate of knots that we haven't seen in South Africa.
They're going to be off to the World Cup in August.
Yeah, you've got the under-20s who's just become world champs. I mean, can you already see an influx of business? Because in the end, that's important. Can and how does that get tracked? And when does it get tracked? And when does it land back on your table telling you, Brad, you told us to do this?
Yeah, look, I can't give away all our trade secrets, but thanks for the question. No, look, obviously, at the end of the day, it's a big investment from our side, and we need to get some sort of return on it. It's not the reason we do it, but obviously to have the brand associated against our strategy of nation building and grassroots to greatness, everything I've mentioned earlier. But that essence of help definitely comes through as well. Look, we're going to be activating left, right, and centre. We look forward to engagements at the Youth Weeks. We had a whole lot of clients out from the Middelburg area and took them around and Joburg and that kind of stuff and just give them that experience. And it's really about that one-on-one engagement. You mentioned the boardrooms. Things like this give us the opportunities to have those sort of shorts and slops conversations with our clients, which hopefully leads to good things.
Maybe change my banking.
I was thinking about that now.
There's two chess matches coming up.
I've got a whole, like a business card there of F&B in the wallet, but the private one might need to go as well. Seeing that they're investing in what we love, and that's how it works, isn't it?
Yeah, look, it is all about that. We've got to be relevant in our community, but it's important for us. And the analogy that was given the other day is, banking is not necessarily the easiest thing to sell because it's not the tangible elements to it. But we as a business are a huge business in South Africa. So what we're trying to do is figure out how we become sort of the flowing in between this entire ecosystem and how we attach ourselves to certain areas and help our clients here and help our clients there. And hopefully we're going to do a lot of financial education with some of these athletes as well. Because we all know once you start earning those checks, you got to know how to deal with it.
I think something I've had associated with F&B from when I was a little boy, which you guys keep saying is just 2 days ago, but when I was actually, is help. And you spoke about help earlier. And I think it's so cool that what you are ultimately doing at the end of the day is really helping the youth rugby structures in South Africa and that whole pipeline. So thanks for coming to chat about it.
Thanks, Brad, for joining us. I'm excited.
Okay, thanks for having me again.
See you at Paris, Brad.
Yeah, see you there.
So I watched a few school rugby games. That's why I watched Parkland with Grey College, actually.
Good memories of Pirates. Good memories. But guys, thanks so much. We're going to take a quick break now on Rugby on 216. We'll see you in a bit.
Bottles disappeared. Profits vanished. It wasn't theft. Our biggest customer became our biggest problem.
I wouldn't call it a problem. He just likes to gooi a few with the boys.
The guys in the first team used to call him Camille.
Because he was so tall.
No, not Camille Per, Camille. He used to drink 200 liters of water in 3 minutes after practice, like a bloody camel.
Is this true, Evan?
Yeah, most of that is true. I am thirsty.
In a world where every second counts, will you make it on time? Out here on the streets, anything can happen when the odds are stacked against you. One man finds the will, the drive, the passion to steer his path to destiny. It's a Swift.
Welcome back to Rugby on 216, brought to you by Thirsty. All we have left to do on today's show is Ask the Ref and the Impossible Truth. And for Ask the Ref, guys, I thought I'd bring it up. I think it's a nice side-by-side here. we spoke about the Paul Roos sort of midfield line-out move a couple of weeks ago. Here we've got a picture of the Springboks. They did it twice. They scored from it twice. And to talk about it, but we've got some of your friends joining us.
How's it, guys? Arat, De Vet, how are you doing?
Oh, very well, thank you. Thanks for having us. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, it's great seeing you guys as well. Just some background for Alex and the guys. Arat, you and De Vet sort of came up with this move, and it was, I think, a combination of Paul Roos' second and third side against Durbanville that you guys did it the first time.
Yeah, I think De Vet will elaborate on it. He's the guy that had the guts to actually execute the move.
Yeah, I think, De Vet, just before you elaborate on that, it's very important to understand that it's a Paul Roos move. You know, Paul Roos came up with it, but it took Paul Roos to get a great college coach in to come up with the move. So that's very important to understand. But De Vet, just how did you think about this?
Yeah, so we were on training camp at the beginning of the year before the season started, and one evening me and Aaron were talking about just how can we improve our 22-meter attack. Aaron came up with quite a new plan, and I was like, "But how can we get still push so good?" And then I told him, let's try and in general playing the 22, set up a free-playing all the line out, general play all around. We set up a ball, and then Aaron said, "Okay, but why don't we lift the guy up?" And then from there, we were super excited about it, and ran it past Corneille and went and looked at the rule books and said, okay, but listen, I'm sure Alex is going to chat a lot about it, but we think it can work, and that's sort of how it was born.
De Vet, did Rassie call you in the week saying, listen, walk me through the entire move since before you did it against Italy? I mean, I'm sure now you might end up being the fifth coach in the box staff now since Rassie's stealing your moves.
Yeah, no, it was such a surprise on Saturday when we did it to see it. We weren't aware that we were going to do it the way he did it all. It was just mind-blowing to actually see him do it. And put massive smiles on me and Aaron's faces when we saw it. As soon as it happened, we were chatting and messaging each other and calling and WhatsApp went haywire, our coaches group and stuff. So it was so unpredictable and such a surprise, but a lucky surprise and a big compliment.
But I want to bring in Alex to this as well, because the previous time we did have a quick chat about it, but just in detail. I mean, for the sides out there now, because a lot of sides that's going to play Paul Roos now wants to know how are we able to defend it, and what are we allowed to do to defend it? Can we take one of the players out? How do we defend it?
Yeah, well, defending it is a lot like defending a maul at the line-out. There are maybe one or two differences, but you are looking to make sure, as the attacking team first, that you get a couple things right. Firstly, about lifting in open play. Perfectly legal. You're allowed to do that. You can lift a player in open play. As soon as they win the ball, you must bring them down immediately and safely. Porus did that. The Springboks did that fine twice. Then, like at a line-out, you need to make sure there's not obstruction. So you're not preventing any potential tacklers from making a tackle on the ball carrier, so the lifters can't cross in front. None of those other players can bind in front. And if nobody from the attacking team comes to meet you, you must make sure the ball stays at the front, just like at a line-out. And then the last thing is the flying wedge. You mustn't create a flying wedge. Two ways to avoid that is only have one player pre-bound prior to the ball carrier making contact with an opponent. Lifters aren't bound, because bound means you're in contact with your whole arm up to your shoulder. And then the second way is you can bring him down, guys can bind, and then you just stay still, or you move really slowly. Then it's not a flying wedge because you're not charging.
But Alex, if I'm Italy, for example, the guy gets in the air, this guy can just basically run around.
Yes.
Yeah. And just basically, like, there's no offside.
Yeah. There's no offside line. There's no maul formed yet.
Yeah, so
the maul's only formed if they bind and keep it up. You can do a sack like you can at a line-out. Unlike a line-out, Italy can take a step back. They're not leaving a line-out before it's formed.
Yeah.
They can literally step back and watch and maybe see if, like, the Springboks mess it up.
I must admit, I mean, guys, if this happens, if I'm playing at 10 and this sort of happens in open play, I'm not going close to the ball anyway. So you know, if you can
run away.
I suppose you want to keep it away. If you look at that picture, there's a lot of forwards involved.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, the vet. I'm posing the question. I mean, if this happens between 10, 12, 13, and 14, I mean, probably backs in the opposing side would run away.
So Spoot, that actually before the game, the vet said to me, he's just going to prep the ref on what we're going to do. And I said to him, no, Vetas, don't. Like, just leave it as a surprise. If he like blows us forward, then let him do it. But don't tell him beforehand because he might, I don't know, get skeptical or cautious or whatever. So leave it as an element of surprise. And I think that, yeah, that's what we sort of bank on for the opponents as well. They're ready to smash your forwards and run at their, like tackle them at their bite, and the next thing you're up in the air.
Well, it worked for you guys. It worked for the Scarlets as well in the ERC. They used it a couple of weeks ago as well, and then obviously worked from the Springboks scoring twice. But thanks, we should have some more of your friends on more often.
So they've gone international with us now. You guys better get that patent registered pretty soon.
The Porus
you can get some royalties. I mean,
just for me, just do it in Bloom in a few weeks' time.
So, just on that, the element of surprise is now gone.
Yeah,
eh?
no more surprise coming.
So no more surprise, and that Bloemfontein field is hard. Eh? Once they sack the guy, I mean, they've been rolling it the last 3 weeks. So, and just watch out for injuries on that front. Eh?
And I'd appreciate it if you didn't use it this weekend as well, guys, against Rondebosch. But thanks so much for joining us. All the best for the rest of the season. And yeah, we'll get into the impossible truth in just a bit.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Thank you. Thank you for the privilege.
Cool, guys. Then all we have left to do is the impossible truth. Thanks to your generosity last week, where you both said a true statement and broke the game again. I'm now 8 from 15, so I'm at 53%, which isn't great, but it's better than having dipped below 50, which I haven't done yet. So, who's going to go first?
I'll go first.
Spuddy, lead us.
Jacques Fourie, former Springbok centre, will be a very interested spectator when Garsfontein plays Monash because he's one of the Garsfontein Springboks.
Porus has produced the most Springboks. Willie Leroux is their first Centurion.
Oh, you guys don't like to make it easy, do you? Those both, on the face of it, sound very believable, which I guess is the point of the game. And for once, you've not given me the 6 different facts in one of the years and things. It's either.
I mean, you're the one who want to bend the rules. Like, we'll change it for you.
And you know, you decide when we play it, when we don't. You know.
I almost think if I explain my reasoning, it's actually embarrassing. So I'm just gonna, because I'm Sput. I think you are true.
The thing is with Alex, you know, I mean, like
now I'm at 50% again.
Springboks are produced. I mean, there's 8. I mean, Villery is he's the only. He's the only Marvin Poros of 100 caps.
You know what surprises me though is Alex is a young buck. We all know that, and I really appreciate him for his tech savviness, and he's on Instagram a lot.
Yeah.
But it was all over Instagram the whole time. Willie Leroux becoming the first Centurion. So I thought he was going to get that.
Also, it's on there. It's going. There's 7 of them, and you're like, okay, just look at the school. No, he doesn't. You know, he calms down. He thinks he knows everything. He's a ref. It's a ref mind.
Do you know what I did yesterday during the matches, the rugby matches, which I don't usually do on a Saturday? I watched all of them delayed because we travelled. So I deleted social media on my phone in the morning so I wouldn't accidentally see the Lions result, the Springboks result, and so.
No, that's fair dinkum, but also, you know, everybody. Sort of all 3 of us now has places we can't go. I mean, you're not welcome in Bloem, you know.
Yeah, I know that.
Ronda Bosch, you know.
You definitely
want to. And then Alex can't go to Monash now.
No.
For Jacques Fourie.
Went to Monash.
He's a Monash Springbok. So you're not. So next weekend in the SDC Noordval, you will not be in.
I am not welcome. I was there last year for Craven Week, but now I can't go back. So we all have places to avoid, and I've now dropped down to 50. You guys are down to 69%. So you'll see next week if we can bring any of our percentages up. Here's hoping we all can. So please be nice next week. I haven't dropped under 50% yet, and so I'm going to just start flipping a coin so that I don't. Yeah, the game's going to be gone. It's not coming back. That's all we have time for on this week's episode of Rugby on 2 and 6, brought to you by Thirsty. There are new episodes every Tuesday at 7 on SuperSport Schools. That's DSTV channel 216 with repeats throughout the week on different SuperSport channels. And you can also catch it on DSTV Stream, Catch Up and YouTube. We'll see you next week. But for now, bye-bye.
And now the podcast from Joy.